Hello, himbos and heavens warders. My name is TV Skyn. Welcome back to Final Fantasy XIV: A Realm Reborn. Probably for the very last time, because after much trial and tribulation, after much struggle and misery, at least I have been assured, I seem to have made it to the end of A Realm Reborn and the beginning of the award-winning expansion Heavensward, which you can play for free up to level 60, etc., etc. And I've also been told that we're about to head into like 45 minutes of cutscenes, which will make this a terribly easy episode for me to record because I don't have to do anything. And as you can see, people seem quite excited to welcome me into what has been called many times the good part of Final Fantasy XIV. It's only taken me like, what? Hang on, let me check my Steam. Yeah, 173 hours. It's only taken 173 hours, but we're finally about to get to the part where Final Fantasy gets good, apparently. So let's not waste any more time and take our Bara Himbo furry into the party, probably. Thank you for coming, sir. Her Grace is most eager to speak with you. If you require a moment to compose yourself before your audience, you may have it, or if you're ready, it would be my honor to escort you to Her Grace's chambers forthwith. Upon proceeding to the Sultana's bedchamber, several cutscenes will play in sequence. I don't think they meant for that to sound kind of dirty, like you're about to trigger the sex cutscene, but it does. It's recommended that you set aside sufficient time to view these scenes in their entirety. Don't you worry, I am a YouTuber. I have nothing productive to do with my time.
Enter. Your Grace, your guest has arrived. Pray, come in and take your ease.
Tis well that the steps of faith held against the Horde.
And what of the city proper?
We sustained some few losses, but the heart of our nation yet beats with vigor. I am not certain I could say the same had we not received your most generous aid.
An attack on Ishgard is an attack on the realm. We stand together or fall divided.
Such noble words after the fact.
I had hoped to speak in the presence of Her Grace, but it seems she has been delayed. That being the case, now would seem as good a time as any. Honored friends, pray allow me to convey Ishgard's warmest gratitude for your part in the defense of our lands. Tis upon the success of this very alliance that my recommendation to throw open the gates of judgment shall be founded. With the blessing of the Archbishop, it is my hope that Ishgard will soon be reunited with her long-estranged sister nations, and that Eorzea shall once more be as one.
That's not how you clap. You don't just press your hands together. Okay.
Very well.
Is aught amiss?
Nothing to worry about. I shall return anon. You wished a word, Yu Hase?
That's probably fine.
You may go. Your Grace. You must be curious as to the reason for this private audience. The matter I would discuss, however, will soon make apparent the need for discretion. I intend to abdicate the throne and dissolve the monarchy. You have seen for yourself the storm of turmoil that howls through our streets. The government fails in its responsibilities, and my subjects suffer the consequences of our incompetence. But I will see them suffer no longer. The victory feast shall provide the stage on which I declare the dissolution of the Sultanate. 'Tis mine intent that the ruling class of our golden city should take its place beside the common man in a fair and equitable republic. No more shall this nation bow to the whims of a privileged few. Yet, that which I propose will entail the tearing up of this city's very foundations. And even Roban, with all his strength and influence, will be hard-pressed to keep his footing on such treacherous ground. Thus would I ask you to lend him a steadying hand. You who have endured the wrath of innumerable foes are the one hero in whom I can place my trust. Will you do this thing for me? I am truly grateful. More grateful than I can well express.
Thank you for that subscription, Talinus. Let me just see. Also, we're gonna do this, just in case. Just so no one can do spoilers. Also, yeah, as people are pointing out in chat, Nanamo can be exempt from the guillotine, specifically because she's doing the one ethical thing that an absolute ruler or a hereditary ruler can do, which is to abdicate their power.
Much of my dread for the coming days has been quieted.
They're lingering on her drinking that. Yeah, okay. Oh, they animated that quite a bit. Damn.
Your Grace!
Peace. The Sultana is dead.
Thank you for the subscription. Well, that was predictable.
Poison in her wine? You did this!
Spare us your denials! I see no other suspects, and the room has but the one entrance. I hereby accuse you of regicide. Men, arrest this viper.
Sir, barring a few exceptions, we have detained all those with allegiance to the Scions. The Rising Stones is also under our control.
Private armies, Alphino.
And what do you hope to achieve with this mutiny?
Why, that which we have striven for all along, Commander. The salvation of Eorzea.
Great party so far.
What is the meaning of this?
Knights from the homeland. This cannot bode well.
Lord Commander, we have received an urgent message from the Holy See. I am grieved to report that your serpentine foes have resumed their assault. Needless to say, your presence is urgently required. These knights have come to bear you swiftly home to Ishgard.
Seems legit.
A surprise attack?
We've had no such word from our men, and the timing is most fortuitous to catch us away from the city.
Most fortuitous indeed.
Lord Commander, we must away!
You have been a most gracious host. I hope that I might one day return the favor. Come, Lucia.
Of course, Thancred is... Oh my god.
Whatever is going on in there? Ah, the ever-dutiful brass blades. I must apologize, but my dance card is rather full. Another time, perhaps?
Thancred, of the Scions of the Seventh Dawn. You stand accused of committing acts of espionage in service to the Garlean Empire.
Espionage? What in the seven hells are you talking about? Ah, if you're referring to that business with the Ultima weapon, then you must understand, I wasn't myself.
Under interrogation, an Imperial prisoner revealed your involvement in numerous dealings with the enemy. We've also been investigating reports that you are a practitioner of forbidden arts. You'd best come along with us.
You invite me to your party and now you want me to leave? I do so detest receiving mixed signals. Come then. I believe I've lost my appetite for this farce of a celebration.
Do I get to kill him at some point? Do I get this, or does someone else stab him for me? Don't answer that.
You go too far, Lord Adeleji. By what right do you march armed soldiers into a royal banquet and eject state visitors without her grace's consent? You treat the brass blades as your personal army and show contempt for the throne with your every act. Leave us now.
Is that an order, General? Mayhap you have mistaken me for one of your flames. You will find I am not so slavishly obedient. As you lecture me on personal armies. As for your outrageous claim that I have shown contempt for the throne, let all here observe that it was not I who feasted while an assassin removed its occupant. I expect this is your idea of defending the nation, is it? This and diluting our forces through these distractions in Cartano and Kurthus. I do begin to see how the ranks of the Immortal Flames came to be riddled with Garlean sympathizers. You are plainly unfit for command.
Wait, goddamn you. Your words make no sense. What assassin?
You mean to say you don't know? We caught the vaunted champion of the Scions in her Grace's private chambers, not moments after the deed was done.
No! No, this cannot be!
Save your breath. You will need it to plead your case. You and your entire order are to be tried for this atrocity.
Literally just cut his head off.
Bring in the prisoner.
Literally just kill him. Like, it's such a simple way to solve the problem.
This man stands accused of poisoning Her Royal Majesty Nanamo Ul Namo, and as suspected accessories to the crime, all members of the Scions of the Seventh Dawn will be detained for questioning.
This is madness!
This is politics.
Who'd have thought your tale would end like this?
Should you demand further proof, a vial with traces of the substance used to poison Her Grace was found upon the assassin's person.
How very convenient.
You would speak of convenience? Who persuaded Her Grace to host this celebration? A diversion which presented you and your confederates ample opportunity to commit the crime, and a crowd within which to fade from view. A more convenient occasion I could scarcely imagine.
How dare you! After all we have done for Uldar!
Hold your tongue, witch! I'll not be ensorcelled! I know all about the dark gift that you and your disciples wield. Oh, yes. I've observed how you worked upon the minds of the Alliance leaders, bending them to your will.
Is that jealousy I hear?
And what of your cordial relationship with Sir Emmerich? For years, Ishgard abjured all contact with the outside world, and now the Lord Commander of the Temple Knights treats you with the familiarity of a childhood friend. I'll tell you what I think. I think this desperate defense of Ishgard was but a ruse to deceive us into dividing our forces. Your next move will be to charm your Kurthan allies into invading our lands. Now that is truly ridiculous.
How do you even think of this stuff?
She cannot be dead. Stand aside, Ilbert. I want to see the Sultana.
Spare yourself the pain, brother. I saw her with my own eyes. For a mercy, the poison took her swiftly. Her handmaiden can attest to that.
This cannot be. Nanamo. Nanamo. No!
Plainly, the Royalists can no longer be relied upon to keep our nation safe. And so it falls to the monitorists of the Syndicate to govern Uldar. But should you wish to help us, General, we would be more than happy to entrust the task of planning Her Grace's funeral to you. It seems only right that you should bury your precious Sultana, and we will be glad to be rid of that burden.
I'll bet you will. You more than any man.
Whatever do you mean?
I mean you had her killed, you black-hearted bastard!
What rot! Though I did have sufficient motive, 'tis true. That young lady caused me no end of grief.
He's so dumb.
Most unwilling puppet. I dare say Her Grace was grateful that someone thought to cut her strings.
You would mock her, then mock her from hell!
What?
Finish him! Fatality.
Satisfying. Very, very satisfying.
Have you lost your mind, General? It is forbidden to draw steel in the royal chambers, much less slaughter our fellow Syndicate members.
Yeah, but you just removed his last leash.
You're one of them. You've been in league with the Scions all along.
Nanamo was his leash, you dumbass moron.
You're next, you scheming bastard!
Ooh.
Oh, Rabong!
7 hells!
Admiral, we must leave.
How unlike you, old friend. I did not expect to take your arm so easily.
Take the Scions into custody. They have conspired to commit regicide. And arrest this traitor as well.
Ilbert, I hope you choke on their coin.
'Tis better than the dirt I've supped on these long years. We can't all abandon Alamigo and become great war heroes as you have. You are not the man you once were, Raban. Since that girl strapped the yoke around your neck, you've become docile. She took the mad bull and cut off his balls, and a bull that cannot rot is fit for naught but slaughter. Shall I tell you who really killed your precious Sultana? It was me.
You die! I never doubted you, not for a moment. But there is more to this than I yet understand. Flee this place. Clear your names. Find out who is behind this plot. It is the only way. Now go!
Come on, give me a crack at Ilbert. Come on!
Ah, there you are.
Thancred, where have you been?
Avoiding the fumbling advances of some very persistent admirers. When I realized the celebrations had turned sour, it seemed prudent to slip away and take stock of the situation. 'Twould appear that much of the city is already under tight guard. It occurs to me that expanding the Brass Blade's authority may not have been such a wonderful idea after all.
No. Really? More cops bad?
The success of this plan was contingent upon those thugs having the run of the place. Just how long has this scheme been in motion?
The careful preparations, the maneuvering of forces. I am inclined to agree with the General's insistence that a deeper plot exists here.
So, would I be right in thinking we now have an excuse to pummel as many brass blades as we like?
Unless you plan on pummeling them all, I'm not sure that will greatly aid our cause.
The Sultana's assassination was but one part of the scheme. We too were its targets.
And though we did not share poor Nanamo's fate, we are yet hobbled by the charges laid at our door. Where now might we seek refuge?
Where indeed,
Ishgard.
we may safely assume that our foe is thought to have the Rising Stones watched.
Forgive me for stating the obvious, but our choice of destination will matter little if we cannot secure an escape route out of Ul'dah.
We can all just teleport.
Happily, I believe I can provide one. Papa Shan once told me about the passages hidden in the walls of the palace.
We can teleport.
If I recall correctly, the fireplace in Nanamo's chambers conceals the entrance to a tunnel.
We could all just teleport.
It should lead outside the city and allow us to avoid any messy confrontations.
I can teleport. No. No more heroic sacrifices.
The rest of you go on ahead. I'll handle this lot.
By yourself? I suppose I shall just have to join you.
Crystal Braves too, huh? Now this should be interesting.
Ida! Papalimo!
We will hold our pursuers here. Hurry, now! Find this tunnel of Thancreds.
Minfilia!
Minfilia, we cannot linger.
Heroic sacrifices only make sense if you actually get away!
Fly, you fools!
Now look what you've done.
Ida, are you all right? There are just too many of them.
I'm fine. I could do this all day. How about you?
Nearing the end of my tether.
This is so stupid. We're the Scions of the Seventh Dawn. The ones who stand between this realm and the evil that's trying to destroy it.
And if you think we'll leave the stewardship of Eorzea to the likes of your masters, then you're sorely mistaken.
Sorry I dragged you into this, Papalimo.
'Tis hardly the first time, and I'll be damned if it will be the last. Let them have it, Ida!
hoping you'd say that.
Big punch.
I never knew such a watercourse existed beneath Uldar. The architecture is of the Sildine style, if I'm not mistaken. The ancients plainly foresaw the need for a ready means of escape.
This way!
Well, that didn't take long. It seems these tunnels were not as secret as I'd hoped.
You two go on ahead. Thancred and I will deal with this.
What do you mean to do?
Only that which is required to ensure that the dawn's light survive to brighten the morrow.
Fear not, antecedent. You haven't seen the last of these fair features.
Not now, Thancred.
My friends.
Leave us!
What is the plan, milady? Shall I take the dozen on the left and you the dozen on the right? The odds are not exactly stacked in our favor.
Numbers will count for little when I bring the tunnel down upon their heads. Though I cannot say I relish the thought of being entombed with you for all eternity.
You wound me. I will have you know that many a maid would kill for the chance to spend forever at my side. Now, may I have the last dance?
Oh. Well, that's the end of his adventuring days.
Well, this is going splendidly. Now would be a good time, milady!
"'Tis done. Forgive me, Mitra.
Farewell, Ophelia.
That's how you know it's an expansion. We're really blowing up the status quo here.
Heidelin, she speaks to me. No.
I must remain behind, but you cannot stay with me. Please, you must go on. You are the warrior of light. You are hope for the Scions and for all the realm. As long as your flame continues to burn, the light of the dawn may ever be relit. You must escape and save Eorzea from those who would plunge it into darkness. "'Tis the only way."
I am glad to see you safe, my friend. What of the others?
They're fine. Totally fine.
Damn that man!
They'll be right along.
Taleji played me for a fool. I thought the Crystal Brave's mine till the very moment I felt the blade at my back.
There will be ample time for soul-searching later. For now, we must put some arms between us and Ul'dah.
Wait, that's not...
Well, would you look who it is? Need a ride? I doubt it'll be half as exciting as the last trip we took. Not if I have anything to say about it anyway.
There's an old friend.
Let's not dawdle, eh? All aboard!
Welcome to Yorkshire, by the way. Quoting from the Final Fantasy theme there. Very good. Da, 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 da. True, an average Yorkshire night usually does involve fleeing the cops. That's how you know it's a night with the lads, eh? So who's the Lalafell in the Warrior of Light helmet?
Supplies over in Vesper Bay, you see, when your sister come up and begged a favour. Said her brother was having some trouble down in Ul'dah and likely needed a helping hand getting away. Thinking them ruins would make a fine hiding place, I decided to try there first. And lo and behold, there you were. Aye, and judging by them soldiers as were pouring out of the city, I arrived not a moment too soon. Must have been fate that we happened to find you there, though, eh?
I had thought to look out for Alize, but 'twould appear she was the one watching over me. I've made such a mess of things.
And who might you be, young sir?
Good question.
Pippin Taropin, Vice Marshal of the Immortal Flames.
Pippin?
I had been on the Alamegan front these past few moons, but an urgent communication called me back to Uldar. Scarce had my boots touched the cobbles, though, when the streets erupted with cries of assassination. I immediately went in search of answers, and came across Master Alphino here. Needless to say, I did not think his imprisonment justified. The blame plainly lies with the Monitarists. Their greed and corruption are well known to me, but for them to take advantage of the situation with such alacrity...
You can't be surprised by this.
Was that Pippin, you said? Ain't that the name of General Alden's lad?
Yes, I am his son. Adopted, of course. 'Twas only as we were leaving Uldar that I learned of father's fate. Once I have seen you a safe distance away, I mean to return to the city and extricate him from this madness.
Then you needn't travel no further than Blackbrush. Our fugitives have a friend waiting for them there.
I dreamed of bringing about Eorzea's salvation, but in the end...
It didn't even matter.
'Twas I who needed saving.
Well, okay, you can finish it that way, too. Oh, hang on. Shit. Okay, I thought the voice actor would continue. You three wait here. I'll be along shortly. Stay strong, friends. The real fight's to come. All right, let's go. Apologies, I cannot do a Yorkshire accent to save my life. I swear to God, if I get a quest success fanfare right now... No, okay, good. I guess that would be the wrong time for that. So, since we have a moment of breathing room, let's talk about what the fuck just happened. Oh, good lord. Right. Welcome to Heavensward, indeed. So, the very well done thing that's set up here, like, is, like, we reach the end of A Realm Reborn in a position of ascendancy, right? Like, we've beaten the Ascians, we've beaten the Empire, we've beaten the Ultima Weapon, we have done, like, all of the cool stuff. The Scions are celebrated and faded, and we have this position of power. And Alphino is like, oh yeah, well, let's begin to consolidate that power. That's why he forms the Crystal Braves, right? And so in order for the story to have stakes, there's only really two things you can do, right? You can either introduce a greater and more terrible villain, which sort of leads you to the problem of power escalation and power creep, right? Like that, it's the Dragon Ball problem where, oh, well, we have defeated the ultimate evil, but it turned out there was more ultimate evil who was even more ultimate, who just happened to be hanging around, but he wasn't there just before when we defeated the old ultimate evil. And that's sort of the power creep problem that all very long-running narratives that are based around battle and combat sort of will run into. Yeah, Alphino lost his Reddit to mods. Yeah. The other thing you can do is you can disempower the protagonist, right? And that's basically what the Metroid games do every single time, right? Is that every single time there's some reason why Samus doesn't have the space jump and the screw attack anymore. Every time there's some reason why she doesn't have the gravity suit. They come up with some reason why she loses her powers so that she can build herself up again. Because otherwise you just kind of, like, imagine if every single Metroid game you had to give Samus a whole new full set of new powers. Legend of Zelda does it just by going, no, this is a new Link, he's reincarnated, he needs to find the hook shot again. There's sort of various ways to do it. What they're doing here is they're disempowering us. They're basically everything we've worked for, everything we've built up, everything we've sort of put together gets taken away in like one fell stroke in a sort of Game of Thrones Red Wedding kind of style, where we become like we lose access to all of our old organizational friends. We lose access to our old base of operations. We lose access to everything good that we have ever had, essentially. Alden is Raban's last name, so Pippin is Raban's adopted son. Oh, I didn't see that. Okay. Bloody Banquet is what we call it. Yeah. The Red Banquet. Exactly. That's exactly what it is. I know he has a very deep voice on the Japanese version, I've been told. So, like, this is essentially resetting the status quo. This is undoing, like, our position of power and kicking us back to square one, essentially. Or at least kicking us several rungs down the ladder so that we can climb up it again. And not gonna lie, like, seeing Raban just absolutely... I mean, he really should have taken his head off, but essentially taken the head off to Leggy. That was very satisfying. Yeah, and that's the other thing. We also can't rely on Heidelin shielding us from nukes anymore. That's the other thing, is Midgard's Ormor, as people are pointing out in chat, also, like, they've sort of been building up this thing of, like, you're becoming more and more vulnerable, right? Like Midgard's Ormor and his pact with us has made us vulnerable without the blessing of light, which caused Moonbreather to have to sacrifice herself. Oh, Telechi was cut in half. His legs fell forward, his torso fell backwards. I didn't catch that. Okay, cool. He took his head off at the waist. Yeah, that's good. That's good. It's good that he did that. It's good that Telechi is dead. That's a good thing. So that's basically what the game is doing, is it's kicking us back to a position of vulnerability from which we can then enjoy the process of climbing back up to empowerment. Another way to do it, and I suspect that's going to happen in at least one of these expansions, is to take the protagonist and just put them in a new place, right? World of Warcraft has done this multiple times. Like, how do you justify needing to climb up the ladder again, like rebuild your connection? Well, throw them into a new region where they have no connections and they need to establish, you know, they need to reestablish themselves. Anyway, that's the ludonarrative dissonance, is that we can just go back to Ul'dah and just hang out, and nothing's gonna happen. Are you playing the fucking Evangelion theme? I mean, that's appropriate because this is the opening of the new anime, the new storyline.
The most unassuming folk can prove to be our greatest allies. That fellow was but a passing merchant, yet he lent us aid without a moment's hesitation, or any hint of concern for his own safety. Though I can well imagine how a man could feel inspired to risk it all in your presence. Are you flirting with me? Father spoke often of you, Brick, and long have I looked forward to our first meeting. Needless to say, this is not at all how I envisioned it. Master Alphino, you must not give in to despair. That would only play into our enemy's hands. So long as you and Brick are free, we may still set things right. Forgive me, Marshal Torpin, but or
Tarapin, rather. Alphino, my boy, sorry to keep you waiting. Hey, Sid!
Sid, what are you doing here?
Pulling you out of the fire as usual. Your merchant friend told me everything.
Truly? Then he is no merchant, but an angel in peddler's clothing. But tell us, how do you intend to bear our friends to safety?
I hit the Enterprise but a short distance away. All I need's a destination.
We must find a place beyond both the reach of the Monitarists and the Crystal Braves. Cathus, Ishgard will not suffer the intrusion of foreign forces into their territory.
Well, that settles it. With me, everyone.
Not I fear. I must remain here. I dare not abandon Ul'dah to the Monitarists and their cronies. You may be certain they will seek to defame you, both here and in the other city-states, but know that I shall do my utmost to thwart their every effort. Frankly, I do not expect it to be much of a challenge. The small folk will not turn so easily on the Warrior of Light and his allies, no matter what the monetarists claim. Marshal Terrapin, I know what not to say. Ah, now that Father would labor to believe. But enough talk. You must go, Master Alphino. Your airship awaits. Up, there's no rest for the righteous. We should make for Camp Dragonhead and speak with Lord Rochefort. Mayhap he will know what to do. Hi, sorry, I'm just going to interrupt the game for a second here to tell you that Jane, my lovely editor who makes these episodes so nice, has written a book with their wife Laura Kate Dale called Who Hunts the Whale. It's a satirical novel about working in the games industry, exploring the absurd realities of working in AAA games development, the strange and disheartening issues that burn people out, and even what might possibly be done about them. It comes out on February 16th, and if you need something to read, hey, I recommend it. Anyway, back to Eorzea. Honey, I'm haunted. Or hunted, rather. Master Alphino told me your tale, Breck. It warms my heart that you should turn to me before all others. I shall endeavor to deserve your trust. Now I can blam. Okay. Alas, the situation here has grown more complicated in your absence. 'Twould be best if I explain in full.
There has been word from the capital. Ishgard has weathered another assault, and 'tis said several wyverns broke through into the city proper. The temple knights succeeded in slaying the beasts, but the intrusion prompted orders to further strengthen the guard and to place the city under a perpetual state of alert. How keenly we feel the loss of our wards at the gates of judgment. Yet we must not bemoan our misfortune. Sir Emmerich is safely returned from Ul'dah, and once more leads the defense of Ishgard. As for the matter of your asylum, I am afraid no progress will be made until the threat to our nation is diminished. But do not despair. You are not without allies. You are more than welcome to shelter here for as long as you wish. Pray, think of it as a new headquarters of sorts.
Theme kicks in. That's very good. Very well done. Very well done. Waking sands, rising stones, falling snows. Very good. Naming convention. Very good.
All frivolity aside, any who come here in search of you will receive no aid from House Fortom. For once, the Ishgardian reputation for inhospitality shall work in our favor. Agents of Uldar will find their every inquiry dismissed, and their every request for entry rebuffed, until such time as their masters have acknowledged your innocence. You once fought to preserve the honor of my dear friend. 'Tis a blessing that I may now repay that debt in kind. But let us dwell no more on this. Pray, join the rest of your companions.
Ah, yes, all one of them.
'Tis bitterly cold this day. I suspect there are those who might welcome the warmth your presence brings.
Also, I appreciate the flirt, but maybe not the time, or chiffon. Who am I talking to? Oh, someone tried to trade me something. Completely missed that, but hey, let's go see the gatekeeper.
Greetings, sir. Shall I show you inside?
Upon proceeding to the intercessory, several cutscenes will play in sequence. It is recommended that you set aside sufficient time to view these scenes in their entirety. Well, I've got nowhere else to be. How about you, chat? Do you have anywhere else to be? I don't think you do. Back to emotes, chat. And there's me in my winter gear.
Alphino, Brick, is it really you?
I'm so happy that you... I tried contacting Minfilia and the others, but no one would respond. And then the Crystal Braves, our own people, turned on us in a marketplace. Flamen told me to run, and so I did. I ran and ran until my lungs burned and my feet ached, but I lost my way, and then...
Fortunately, I had observed some of the Braves behaving suspiciously beforehand.
Thank you, Miss Ninja.
Ah, yes, my mask. It was lost in the struggle.
Pretty, isn't she? Anyway, after Yagiri found me, we traveled to Vesper Bay and met up with Urianger. When we told him what had happened, he used his magics to weave a glamour around the waking sands. From the outside, our old headquarters now looks like an abandoned storehouse.
And since no one knows where it is, or has any idea, that means that they can't find it. Yep.
The transformation didn't take long either. Apparently, Urianger started making preparations after the Imperial attack, just in case the Empire ever chose to pay us another visit. Good thinking, eh? Sorry, where was I? Oh, yes, so we waited at the Waking Sands, hoping the others would come, but no one else did.
My people are searching for the other Scions even as we speak, but we have met with no success as yet. I had hoped that you might be able to suggest further places to look. But you should know the Rising Stones did not share the Waking Sands' good fortune. Only Crystal Braves await you there. Be that as it may, we yet have cause to hope, do we not? If the two of you escaped, it is not impossible that the others could have done so as well.
I mean, the game really took pains to show us they're doing a heroic sacrifice, and they're going to die. They're going to die for that heroic sacrifice. So, up in the air, whether or not any of them survived, but presumably at least Minfilia did.
You may have been forsaken by men and women believed true, but rest assured that the people of Doma yet stand with you. We welcome this opportunity to repay our debts, and shall continue our efforts to locate the others and see the Scions restored to their rightful place of honor.
Lots of smileys in chat. I take it to mean that they're all completely fine. And nothing bad happened, and everyone's okay, and everything's fine.
'Tis all my doing. I believed myself the only one who truly understood Eorzea's woes. And look what that arrogance has wrought. I gave commands, influenced governments with my certainty. I treated the Crystal Braves and even the Scions themselves as pawns in my great scheme to save the realm. But in my headlong rush into imagined glory, I paid no heed to the ground upon which I trod.
Yeah, you've been kind of a little shit, honestly.
The salvation of Eorzea. What was it that I hoped to achieve? Did I believe that I could rid the realm of every danger and difficulty? That I could defeat the Empire and the Ascians, and find homes for every refugee? Oh, yes. I was so very clever. Become a guardian of Eorzea, I implored, and sat back to watch my perfect army cleanse the land of chaos. It was all but a means to feed my own vanity.
Little bit, yeah. Yeah.
Only when all is lost do I finally realize the truth.
Oh, Alfino.
Oh, Archifon. That's so nice.
So, Master Alfino, are you content to remain a broken blade? Is there no flame hot enough to reforge you? What of the fine companions who yet stand at your side? I dare say the fires of their determination will soon have you slicing the air again with your customary wit.
I hardly deserve such friendship. And besides, where are we to go?
Alfino, if I may? Should this place not serve our purpose, then we shall go to Ishgard. Minfilia told me many times, as long as we stand fast against despair, the beacon of hope will never be lost to sight.
I will say, give him like a minute to
Be it in the
grieve.
snow or in the clouds, we few will see that the dawn's light shines again.
You are right, Tataru. Thank you. And thank you for your kind words, Lord Orchefon. 'Tis true that Eorzea yet has her guardians. The Scions have achieved much, and 'twould be remiss of me to discard it all in a fit of self-pity. Let us then resume our journey, together, one step at a time.
And me and my mittens. Probably gonna get copyright claim for that music, unfortunately. Because all Final Fantasy music gets copyright claimed.
To all of my children, in whom life flows abundant. To all of my children, to whom death has swept his judgment. The soul yearns for honor, and the flesh the hereafter. Look to those who walked before, to lead those who come after. Shining is the land's light of justice. Ever flows the land's well of purpose. Walk free, walk free, walk free, believe the land's alive, so believe. There it is. Final Fantasy can't resist it. Open your eyes while our plight is repeated. Still deaf to our cries, lost in hope, we lie defeated. Our souls have been torn, and our bodies forsaken, bearing sins of the past, for our future is taken. War, born of strife, these tribes persuade us not. Words without thought, these lies betray our thoughts. By a plague of doubt the land she mourns. Bind all we hold to a memory of scorn. Tell us why, given life, we are meant to die, helpless in our pride. Life is a riddle to bear rapture and sorrow, to listen to tomorrow. In one fleeting moment, from the land doth life flow. Yet in one fleeting moment, for anew it doth grow. In the same fleeting moment, thou must live, die, and know.
Sorry to interfere with the song in that way. Just trying to preempt maybe a little bit of copyright claiming. Don't know if it's gonna work, though. Ah, well. That, then, signals the actual final end of Final Fantasy XIV: A Realm Reborn, I guess. Good lord. I will say the patch content... They should probably turn the music down a little bit. The patch content, in a lot of ways, like, it's very well managed. It really, like, just in terms of, like, putting the writing together, because, like we talked about many times over the course of Realm Reborn, Realm Reborn is just, like, is the standard fantasy narrative, the hero's journey kind of thing, right? Like, not even really the hero's journey, but it's, like, it's the standard fantasy, high fantasy sort of anime narrative kind of thing. Where it's like, the light and the dark is bad, but the light is good, and you are the light, and the bad guy is the dark, and the dark is like evil and wants bad things, but you want good things, and so the light warrior goes to fight with the dark warrior, and there's, it's very, there's not a lot there. There's an interesting world there. Like, there's an interesting, like, narrative universe there. Like, there's interesting things about Ul'dah, for example. There's interesting things about the various regions that is really never explored meaningfully at any point in Realm Reborn, honestly. Like, they sort of very barely touch on the whole beast tribes versus the city-states. They sort of vaguely touch a little bit on the economic oppression and cruelty of Ul'dah. They touch a little bit on sort of the politics of it all, but it's like, as Bloodleaf in chat says, yeah, like, it was rushed. It was, they needed to rebuild this entire goddamn game from scratch. And of course, obviously, it's like, just fucking whatever story will work, just put something together, get it out there, like, because the game needed to be rebuilt from scratch. So obviously, like, it makes sense that there wasn't a lot of resources left over to sort of explore the game more deeply in that sense. And then the patch content is sort of like when it kind of feels like the development team is kind of going like, holy fuck, okay, right, we rebuilt the game. Shit, fuck, now what do we do? Like, it really feels like the patch content is very much like the development team going like, now what? Like, now what do we do? And that was basically like, and that's where they sort of start to, okay, the Scions are, there's something else, Organization 13 Kingdom Hearts? Is this anything? They sort of try to do that with Scions. They start bringing in different characters. They do like the side content with Gilgamesh and Hildebrand. Like, and I didn't get to experience all of that, obviously. But it sort of feels like they're sort of putting out feelers in all kinds of different directions. Like, oh, we can do some side quests that are more like comedy. We can start building on sort of putting cinematic language into the cutscenes rather than just like shot-verse-shotting characters talking to each other. We can start doing, like, they sort of start to explore what the fuck they can even do with this platform that they have built upon which something else now needs to be added. Like, what do you do after you have your chosen one confront the primeval evil and the bad guy who leads the Empire and destroyed him? And like what do you do after that? Well, you dive in, like you sort of dive into some of the deeper stuff that hides underneath the surface. For example, how Ul'dah is the bad place, just the Satan place for bad people, which is hell. And you use that, like the political machinations of Ul'dah, as an excuse to sort of pull the big, hit the big reset button on your dashboard kind of thing. And thank you for that subscription, Darvid. That's very kind of you. Like, and it feels like the patch content is like more and more them sort of exploring all kinds of different directions and then sort of zeroing in on a direction that they want to go. And then here, by the very end of the patch content, it's like, okay, we've established Ishgard, we have established, we've established all the trouble with Ul'dah, and interestingly, we have now given the Warrior of Light a means by which to kill Ascians finally. And that to me signals that, like, okay, so Ascians are not going to be the ultimate threat all of the time, right? Like, they're killable now, we can destroy them, there's a means to get rid of them. They're not like this permanent threat of the darkness out. Like, they're not this sort of undefeatable threat that always returns kind of thing. Like, now there is a means to deal with them, and therefore we can start surfacing other threats that can be meaningful. Like, for example, political betrayal from within. Maybe the Empire can come back in a different capacity, because like in Realm Reborn, like, Gaius is literally just a vessel for the darkness, right? Like, it's like there's the evil darkness that hates the light, and Gaius is essentially just a vessel to push that forward. Like, they're manipulating him, they're controlling him, they're doing his... They're essentially pushing him forward, and like they're presented as the power behind the throne, right? Gaius is ultimately presented as a puppet of the Ascians there. Like, he doesn't really... The Empire doesn't really get to be a meaningful enemy as such, because they're all just puppets of the true darkness, the true evil behind the scenes, who is the Ascians. And now with the introduction of the new Emperor, and that, like, it feels like they're sort of gearing up to say, hey, maybe there's other threats, like maybe the Ascians aren't the be-all, end-all, only meaningful threat that anyone should care about. Maybe other shit is going on too. Maybe the world itself has more to offer in terms of villains and conflict and problems to deal with than just the evil dark guys from the bad place, whom hate the goodness and whom's to be evil. Like, it sort of feels like they're setting up that movement away from the very basic light versus dark structure of Realm Reborn into something that's more politically, narratively nuanced. At least that's my read on it from going through, like, the way that they close out Realm Reborn and what they set up for what's going forward. But no, yeah, what a hell of a way to end. Is like, my nitpicking is that, like, I sure would have cared more about these characters seemingly dying, like Thancred and Papalimo and Ida and all of them, if they hadn't been so flat. Because, like, I wasn't kidding when I said that Moenbrida had more personality just in her than all of the other Scions put together. They tried to, like, they really did start to build on them a little bit. Like, Thancred got to be more of a womanizer. He got to be more of, like, the horny bard character. Like, Ida got to be more of the sort of the adorable bimbo thing, and, like, Papalimo, they sort of tried to expand that a little bit more. But the original Scions, like, in Realm Reborn, all throughout it, are, like, very rarely rise above the very basics of their archetype. Like, especially Minfilia is so fucking boring. Like, I cannot stress enough how difficult I find it to give a shit about Minfilia. I really, like, because she's such a wet fucking blanket. Like, it seems so transparent to me that Minfilia's role in the story is basically to gas up the Warrior of Light. Like, her role is basically to, oh, Warrior of Light, you're so strong, you're so powerful, you're so good, you do all the good things, I rely on you so much, oh, you're my rock, I care about... Like, she's so much fucking waifu bait. Like, she's so much there to gas up the ego of the player. And she just doesn't get to have agency. She doesn't get to have agency of her own. She doesn't get to drive her own story. She's just the antecedent who sits in her chamber and says, yes, okay, go, Elfino, you can go do all the stuff that drives the plot. And yes, other Scions, you can go do things that actually happen out in the world. And I can sit here and be concerned about things. and look shocked when bad things happen and stuff. Like, she never does anything. She never acts at any fucking point. She never takes, like, decisive action to make anything happen. She always delegates it basically to you. And that's like, and that makes it really hard for me to give a shit that she might be dead. Like, oh, no, yeah, oh, Minfilia, that's, she ran and, oh, she didn't come with me. Whoa, well, that's sad. If she's dead, then I won't have to rescue her again. At least that's something. Like, it's like, yeah, I don't feel the loss of her very strongly. So, like, if she's not dead, which presumably she isn't, since Hydaelyn was talking to her and saying that she must do this thing, I hope that she gets to be more of a person in the future expansions. I hope all of the Scions that might survive get to be more people in future expansions, because, boy, it, like, It was hard to care that much. You're not alone in feeling that way about Minfilia. I know. And there's nothing wrong, by the way. Like, Minfilia doesn't need to be a warrior. She doesn't need to fight. Like, she doesn't need to have, like, superpowers or whatever. It's just that even as, like, a leader, even as, like, a like, moral center of the Scions, she never does anything. Like, she never takes action. Like, she never drives the plot. She never pushes things forwards. She's always reacting to shit and telling you to deal with it, which is like, she just needs to be able to... She just needs to drive the story, right? Elfino does all the things Minfilia should be doing in the plot. Yeah, kinda. Like, I'm not... Yeah, I mean, I would actually agree with you there that they probably could collapse Elfino's character into Minfilia, and get a stronger... Like, if they merged the two characters together, they would probably have a much stronger one. Because that would sort of do a better job of like merging the storylines there. Like, Alphino's overreach is that he tries to seize too much administrative, like, he tries to build himself a private army and become a nation state in and of himself, essentially, which is sort of, that's a natural extension of if he was already, like, the leader of the Scions of the Seventh Dawn, that he tried to amass too much power to himself, and that's how it all blows up in his face. Or rather, if Minfilia had been doing everything Alphino was doing, like, that would be interesting, because that would give her a character arc, right? Like, that Minfilia, like, sort of, like, goes through this up and down cycle where something happens to her that isn't just her reacting to prophecy shit, you know? Remember, Alphino's issue is that he's foolishly idealistic. Yes. And that would have been a really good flaw for Minfilia to have. Because she's also like that. She's also the one who's constantly throwing out platitudes about how the light shall go on and we should all triumph together and so on. Like, for her to be the one who's, like, overly optimistic, overly trusting, unable to really sort of, like, to really conceive of her own, like, the inherent goodness of man failing her in this way, that would have been a good character arc. But, you know, that's not to shit on Alphino necessarily. Like, I like his character arc in the patch content, that Alphino, like, that he gets owned so thoroughly. Like, just owned and owned and owned and owned and owned again and again and again. I like that. He needed that kick in the face. Like, that works really well. But, you know, it's just that one thing of, like, it would be nice if the early game of Final Fantasy XIV had better written women. Yeah, that's the other thing. That's the other thing about Minfilia, is that she's such a fucking JRPG waifu too. Like, she's so much that specific archetype, like that, like the innocent sort of fawning waif in a JRPG whose role is to be saved by the protagonist kind of thing. Like, that's so much what she's like. So, you know. But yeah, I have my complaints. I have done the chorals, yes.
All has been arranged as you desired, my lord.
Oh, hey, they didn't kill him. Probably a mistake by them. Oh good, evil monologues.
Labrialis is no more.
What, you couldn't voice act this for me? Oh my god, okay.
The ardor was not his to invoke. His demise was of his own making. Nevertheless, it concerns me. They have extinguished that which should rightly be eternal. Mayhap he was not wholly mistaken. Greater haste may be warranted. We are of one mind. The northern lands, then. The earth is fertile, and the seeds well sown. By my will, they shall reap salvation unlike any the world has known.
Oh my god, is it just gonna be La Habrea again? Come on. We already beat you. Give me new Organization 13 members to kick ass on.
By his will. By his will.
Ooh, do we sense a bit of disloyalty there? There's drama in Organization 13. Oh, hello.
I have answered thy summons, emissary. Speak, and make thine intent known. I would speak of fate, Archon. Yours, mine, the fate of this very star.
Urianger going off on his own a little bit there. Are we on a revenge plot, buddy boy? My mittens.
Thou thinkest sanctuary lieth beyond. Delusion, despair, death. Thou shalt find naught else here.
To preserve the dawn's light, the heroes journeyed north. Their hearts filled with hope and eyes fixed heavensward.
Hey, title drop. Roll credits again, yeah. So, are we there now? Are we there now? Are we there yet? We are there yet. Okay, we're there now.
No matter how long it takes, I have faith we will find the others. With Lady Yugiri Shinobi, Urianger's intelligence, and my versatility, there's nothing we cannot do.
You want me to check outside the intercessory? Okay. We'll do the trailer. Chat, relax. Oh! Everyone's wearing sweaters, or at least you two are. What do we have here? Realm Reborn Red. A special vintage of sparkling red wine prepared by... Okay. Does that do something? Oh! I see. Love the cold weather gear, guys. Anyway, let me back in. I do have Endwalker. At least I've paid for it, so I should have it. Ah, yes, Protac-kun. Well, at least he has an axe as well, so... Do you see why we wouldn't let you watch it before the cutscene now? Yeah, I can see why. That dragon is playing Final Fantasy. He's playing Dark Souls. Also, why is there someone riding on the back of that dragon? Yeah, you can make it emotes only, Rin, if you want. His character design is so funny because he's at once meant to look like rugged and sort of like a Western AAA video game hero, but then at the same time he has those complete shonen protagonist eyes, like that complete shonen protagonist face structure. Ooh, flying islands. Oh, he's grown a hobo beard. Hey, class change. That was, yeah, that genuinely was like a goddamn hour of cutscenes. Holy heckrim. That was a lot of things. That was a lot of stuff to discuss and talk about. Many things have happened, and we have now finally, after, I mean, at this point, probably 160 hours, God knows how long, finally made it out of Realm Reborn to the part where I know control down arrow, but I can't go any further down. To the part where Final Fantasy XIV gets good. Or so they say. It's been good for a while, but if it has been good, it has been mostly because of, well, because of the massively scrolling madness of chat that you see over there on the left side of the screen, and because of the silly costumed weirdos with the strange mounts and the odd habits of sacrificing each other to the dark gods that have been following me around for the past many episodes. Realm Reborn is mostly good because of that. I will say, like, I've complained many times about the game's story, as such, and all those things, but what has made it great is just the people who decided to come along for the journey. So, thank you all very much for that. And thank you for making it fun for me to get to the good part. God only knows how many rants about Ul'dah lie ahead in our future and what else might happen, but now, having made it to Heavensward, having made it out of Realm Reborn, it is time to do a few things that I have sort of put off or postponed until I finally got my way through the main story quest. I want to level at least one other job, probably gonna be the Dragoon, because it's appropriate for Heavensward, and it's also a tank, apparently also, which, natural for me. I want to have that little fashion stream I've been talking about for ages and ages and ages, where I'll pick a date and time, and people can come to, it's a DPS, not a tank? Okay, fair enough. Dark Knight is a tank. I get them confused. But I want to have that little fashion stream where we just spend an entire stream or two just looking at glams, just looking at people's cool character designs and cool ideas, and just hang out and enjoy ourselves for a bit. Take a bit of a chill pill. I might want to go back and level some crafting also, just for the heck of it. Other things. Like, there's little things I want to wrap up, little things I want to go and do, unlock the various other classes that are available. I don't know that I'm going to use them for anything, but, you know, might as well unlock Blue Mage, right? Go maybe check out the fight with Odin, which I still haven't done yet. How much of this is going to be on stream? Who knows? It's all up in the air. I've been using Final Fantasy XIV as a game to play while I'm listening to podcasts, and I'll probably do my crafter grinding that way. Maybe I'll do it on stream, and you can all listen to podcasts with me. Who knows? But yeah, that's the end of Realm Reborn. We are at last in Heavensward. Thank you all very much for joining me on this ridiculous Let's Play journey. And I hope you have enjoyed it. If you have enjoyed it, you can head on over to the Twitch channel and subscribe if you are so inclined. That helps me out in terms of, like, making money from doing this thing so I can pay my rent and things. You can also become a member of the YouTube channel, which will give you the added benefit of early access to episodes before they go live for everyone else. Oh, on the Twitch channel also, you get access to the VODs of all of the full stream, and not just the stuff that gets into the edit that my editor helps me put out. And I think that's all the self-promotion that I need to do. Thank you for the cheering. Thank you very much. I think that's all the self-promotion I need to do. So thank you all very much for watching. Remember to be kind to one another and have solidarity with those who are worse off than yourselves. And may the tides of history wash gently over us all.